back to the game room. Today is day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. We're doing a video each day leading right up to Christmas, and today we were checking out the Legends Flashback Blast from @Games. I swear I have a really good reason for looking at this one. Okay, so why would I ever want to own one of these? Well, I have a really good reason for it. First of all, it was super cheap. I think I spent 5 or 10 Canadian on this locally on Facebook Marketplace, so the price was right. And, you know, if you haven't gone back and seen my video where I built this sort of makeshift game room arcade setup, it was really an attempt to create a game zone in the game room where 1 or 2 players could just kind of stand and play. I don't have enough space in my game room for a full-on arcade setup, and so this was kind of my version of that. This @Game really promises to create that sort of experience all over again, and they advertise it just about on every single model of this they have. The HDMI dongle, that it's printed on every single box of every single model of one of these things. There are a bunch of different models of this, which sort of makes me wonder if it's a bit of a cash grab. They have 9 different ones in total, I think, and they range around 25 Canadian on Amazon if you're going to buy them brand new. It just sort of makes me wonder why they didn't just print every single game on one of these. I can't imagine having to reach around behind your console and change out the dongles. That just takes away that convenience factor. So this was the one I found, and let's crack into it and see what's inside the box. Okay, first in the box is a couple of stickers in case for some reason you want to advertise to all of your friends that you own one of these. Those are probably just going to stay on the sticker sheet for me. There's an instruction manual, and we've got the controller in there next. You know, I'm not going to lie, right off the bat, I had high hopes for this controller. It doesn't feel awful as far as like build quality. It's just a little bit on the light side. I was kind of hoping that it would take AA batteries just to add a little more weight to it, but unfortunately it does use AAA's, and the overall weight of this is just kind of light, and that just sort of makes it feel cheap. It also comes with that well-advertised HDMI dongle, and it's pretty simple to use and doesn't look too bad, actually. You just snap it into the back of your TV, and you use a, I believe that's micro USB, to just plug it in, and then the USB plug. Hopefully, if your TV has a USB nearby, you've got about a foot or a little more to play with, so if your TV doesn't have a USB input to power this thing, then you're gonna have to find another cable. I did plug this in and play for quite a while, and it was alright at the beginning. Gosh, the menu screen just feels so broken, and you can't press inputs too quickly, otherwise the thing just seems to lag and have issues. Getting into the games, these just didn't age well. This was not my generation of gaming. I started playing video games back on the Nintendo, like the original NES. I do remember playing a little bit of Atari back in the day, but I was really young and Pitfall seemed cool. They just don't look as good as some of the better arcade and NES versions of these games. I spent some time with Burger Time, which this was my first Burger Time experience. I had heard really great things about Burger Time, and I was excited to check it out. I didn't even realize until I looked it up online that I was building hamburgers. It just looks like a bunch of lines to me. I really want to give this game another shot, but this just isn't the place for it. I spent some time with Bump and Jump, which, beyond the audio being painful after about a minute, I had some fun with this one, and I can see how the arcade version probably is a lot more fun to play than the Atari 2600 version, but I still put a good 10 minutes into this game, and it is fun to try to see how far you can get with this one. Frontline is probably the game that I put the most time into, and I really enjoyed this one, but I can see how better playing versions of this game would have been a lot more fun. And it's really the off angles, the kind of diagonals, that gave me the most trouble. This controller input is very squishy and does not always register the way that you want it to. So that just really led me to my biggest gripe with this whole thing, and it comes back to the controller. These are all Atari 2600 games, and if you love those games, then you probably would have an alright time with the Flashback Blast, but if @Games actually put out a version of this where all 133 games or so across 9 of these Blast models were available, and they were all 2600 versions games, which some of you might be into, the last thing they need to do is actually put a wireless reproduction of the 2600 joystick with the button, which they're capable of creating. They might actually have something pretty cool on their hands. There's definitely something to walking up to your TV, grabbing a modern reproduction of the Atari joystick, sitting down, turning it on, and playing these games. You might have something on your hands, but instead you get this miserable cash grab, and it's just not a lot of fun. So, unfortunately, this one's an absolute loss, and it's not staying in the game room, but it's okay, because tomorrow is day 5, and we've got a whole new video, so make sure you check back in, and thanks for checking this one out. Catch you on the next one.